Hi guys, it's Dr. Liz here, and I hope you're having a great day so far. Hey, I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking to you about a very important aspect of couples, and that's conflict and conflict styles. And I'm getting ready to launch my Happy Marriage Masterclass, or maybe by the time you've read this or watching this, I have already launched my Happy Marriage Masterclass. And I think it's really important to touch on conflict and conflict styles. You know, I have some couples that come in and they say, you know, we don't fight at all. And they're sitting there on the couch, which you're in my office, you're right there, and they are sitting miles apart. And we start talking about what they like or they don't like, and they really don't have a clear idea because you know what? They haven't been having any discussion, even in the form of a conflict, about what they like or don't like within the relationship, within each other. So let me share four common conflict styles, and then maybe you can relate back to your relationship, as well as take this information home to your sweetheart and start talking about how you guys can communicate better. Because it's really not what you fight about or what you have a conflict about or disagreement or argument, or you can call it whatever you want, but it's really how you have that conflict, how you have that fight, that argument, okay? So the first one is a criticism, okay? And that's where you pick people apart and you call them names, or you say, oh, I can't believe you really did that, or I hate it when you do this, or you did it wrong. It's where we're placing judgment and we're putting them down. Another conflict style is contempt. And that's when we get really snarky. It's the eye rolling. It's a, really? You know, it's the huffy. You know, it's, you might have seen that or experienced it. It's the tone. It's implied that you've done something wrong. It's disdain for you. Another style is, or a conflict style, is defensiveness. Now, I have done this for years. I'm trying not to do this, but it's where instead of acknowledging what's going on, we get defensive, we try to explain ourselves, we rationalize, we offer reasons why, and this is a big accelerant to a fight, because the more we try to explain or justify or rationalize or reason with our spouse, the more we toss shiny things out there that then they can chase, and the conflict goes from this thing over to here, okay? And the last type of conflict is flooding. And this is based on a very real human physiological response where our heart rate goes up and our blood pressure goes up and our intellect goes down. Literally, the logical part of our thinking brain shuts off. We go back to the primitive fight, flight, or freeze. So we tend to say really snarky stuff or things that don't make any sense in the situation, or we tend to just leave the situation, either sitting here shutting down and not talking, or taking off through the door, or going for a walk, or going, you know, getting in our car, slamming the bedroom door and locking ourselves in the bathroom. It doesn't matter. You escape the situation because it's too much for you, all right? Or maybe your partner does. One of the things that happens in those situations is oftentimes we don't come back to talk about it, or the other person becomes a pursuer and says, no, we're going to talk about this now. We're going to talk about this now. We're going to talk about this now. And they're chasing after, literally chasing after that person, which doesn't allow individuals to calm down, cool down. And so again, conflicts can go beyond something simple like, I can't believe you forgot to put an ice pack in my lunch, to you don't do anything right and I hate you and we want a divorce, or, you know, okay. So let's go back to how you can fix each of these situations, all right? When we're talking about criticism, we step back and take criticism and turn it into a complaint. Instead of, you never pay the bills on time, you're horrible with money, we go back to a complaint that maybe says something like, I it really bothers me. You know, I get very anxious when I don't know if our electric bill has been paid or if we have enough money in the account. So when I go pay groceries, my charge isn't going to be denied. Okay. When we turn it into complaint and we let our spouse know or our partner know how it bothers us, they're much more likely to get on board or at least hear you out on that. And you can even follow up with things, let's say the money thing. You know, it's I'm really concerned about how we're spending money, and how the bills are being paid. When I go to the grocery store, my stomach's in a knot because I don't know if I swipe our card, if I'm going to get approved or denied. What can we do to change that? How can I help you with the bill paying, whatever it might be, okay? When we're looking at contempt, that's a non-verbal way of expressing the emotions that we're not saying. We're saying non-verbally, or maybe even with our tone, or Jesus, God, I can't believe it. You know, that undertone, that mumbling type of stuff. What we want to do is we want to get an agreement between the two of us that if I see you or if you see me doing that, we're going to gently call that out in a nice way, okay? Like, I don't know if you know that, I don't know if you realize this, Liz, but you just rolled your eyes at me, type of thing. And then we can go back and say, what was I feeling at that moment that had me needing to roll my eyes? It might have been the comment about me paying the bills on time. And what else is there for me? And then I might dig deeper and realize, well, they just don't really know. They don't help out. They're so out of touch with the bills. They don't realize that we don't have enough money, paycheck to paycheck, to, you know, pay on time. So that would be a subject to talk about. And we talked about defensiveness. Defensiveness, again, we confuse it with explaining to our partners or justifying ourselves to our spouse. We need to step back. The best way to interrupt a potential fight is maybe to acknowledge the other person's feelings or our feelings. So rather than, you know, let's say I rolled and they brought to my attention, I might say, you know, I didn't realize I did that, but in looking back now, I realize you're right. I did roll my eyes. And I think I was very uncomfortable. I felt put on the spot about our money situation. When we give them that kind of acknowledgement for their feelings and the situation, you know, we have diffused a potential fight, and it puts us at a better talking zone or talking place. As far as the flooding and people becoming physiologically overdone, one of the best things is that you guys can agree that, you know, one or both of us get really, really elevated when we're talking about things that are sensitive. So we need to, in the moment, come up with some kind of code, some kind of timeout, some kind of word that lets us agree to take a break and go get ourselves calm and then check back in with us. And when we do that, we are laying the groundwork for what successful couples have learned. Successful couples have learned that over time, maybe not the first time, but over time, they can keep baby stepping their way through a discussion, through a conflict, through these emotions, and they can come to some kind of understanding and awareness. Now, mind you, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be in agreement. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to persuade you for my mindset or you're going to persuade me to my mindset. But it means that we can see each other's viewpoints and we can agree to disagree or agree and have say, wow, why didn't we think about this before? But we're going to be able to come up with some kind of plan or some kind of ability to manage whatever the issue is. And so I go back to the beginning of what we were talking, and I appreciate you for hanging in here. I said it's not what we fight about, it's how we fight. And so by following these 4 steps and introducing some of these techniques into your discussion, you're going to do what long-term successful couples do, is they baby step themselves through very difficult situations, even if they have to put something aside for a while and then come back to it. And they've learned that they can share touchy things and they can share painful problems, and it can get resolved. So that's all for right now. I appreciate you joining me today. Again, I'm Dr. Liz Jenkins, and please watch for my Happy Marriage Masterclass or join me on my website at drlizjenkins.com. Shoot me an email or send me some questions. I'd love to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.